Hello one and all, and welcome to Seen Through Glass. Now for the last week I've been using this BMW M4 to get around, and tomorrow I'm giving it back to Driven Leasing, the company who organised the demonstrator for me. But before I did that, I wanted to summarise my experience of using the car for a week. Now, before any of you attack me, I do realise that the car is very dirty, and I was going to clean it, but I thought, no, hold on a sec, because I'm not doing some journalistic, sparkly review. What I'm doing is telling you what it is like to live with this car, so I'm going to show you how dirty it gets when you drive it. Now, lots of you have been asking why I've been driving an M4 this week and not using my Jag. Well, when I hit 100k, my friends over at Driven Leasing, a car leasing company, gave me a call and said that they had a demonstrator M4 available and would I like to use it for the week. And I thought, hey, why not? It's always fun to drive other cars and it would be a good opportunity to really check out the M4. So, what has this car been like to live with for the last week? Let's discuss. Initial impressions when I first picked up the car, I'm going to be really honest, were it's crap. When I first collected the car, I was like, oh, I don't like it. It's kind of to do with the interior. I actually used to own a BMW 330i back in the day. It was a 2006 car, and I loved it. It was like my first proper car, and I was completely freaking obsessed with that thing. The interior looked pretty much identical to the car I'm sat in now. And as I say, it's like basically 10 years later. I don't know why BMW haven't spruced up their interior. This is supposed to be one of their flagship sports cars. I know it is an everyday sports car, but I just find it so dull in here. The seats are nice and comfortable and there's nice leather, but it doesn't feel sporty at all. It feels really beige. But I thought, right, I can't just judge a car by its looks. What they say about girls as well, but let's face it, that's what we all do. I thought I should try and get, in the skin of the car a bit more and understand it. So I decided I wasn't going to make a video talking about the car until I'd had a few days to really play with it. And obviously that's now what I've done because I've had the car for exactly that, a week. And huge thanks to Driven Leasing for organising this loaner because it's been a really interesting experience. I test drove the M4, I was really considering buying it before I ended up in the 4C. It was right up there as a contender, but even on the test drive I kind of noticed these few things. There is no denying, and we're going to get onto this in a second, when you put this car into M mode, it is obscenely quick. However, poodling around like this, it's a bit annoying. I realise I am very spoiled, very spoiled with the ZDF gearbox that I have in the F-Type. It is a dream, that thing. I mean, it's literally like there are no gears. The M4 has at times felt a bit clunky, especially around town. It's almost like the gearbox is sometimes searching for the bite point, and there's a lot of sort of roll up and down hills, and parking's been a sort of bit like, and that's annoyed me. As I say, I realise I'm very spoiled with the ZDF, but still, I was expecting something a bit better. And when you're really on it and using the paddles, it's just not razor sharp, that gearbox. So, that's my first complaint. I have to admit, on the motorway, it was great. Very solid. Not always at loads of torque, because obviously now they've switched to these turbos. I do think there's a bit of turbo lag. I do. But once those turbos are really on it, God, like, you just gather speed so quickly, and it's starting to sound good now as well. And I think that's the biggest thing. If you're considering buying one of these cars, or maybe you own one, you are going to beat lots of other cars on the road. You are not going to struggle keeping up or beating lots of cars. It's going to feel rapid. Another positive is I really like the steering of this car. I really like the steering of the BMWs. They've always had that really nice weight to them. And again, you can sort of change it, and as I say, when it's sort of active in sport, it is very direct, and I like that heaviness. You kind of feel like you're really in control of the car at all times, and you can kind of point it where you want to point it. I haven't really gone to any sort of super tight and twisty roads to sort of really test it out, but that I am a big fan of the heavy steering. A small pernickety point to add to my slight disappointment is the fuel economy. I think it's got a tiny tank this. It's been so cheap to fill up all week. It does get through the petrol quite quickly. What have we been doing? 26.6 mpg, so that's actually quite good. But I feel like I've been getting out of petrol quite a lot. Maybe that's because it's such a small tank, but it's just annoyed me. I feel like I'm in a petrol station a lot more than in the Jag. But really the biggest problem with this car is I don't really have anything to say about it. It leaves me really cold and unemotional. It's been fine. Like, it's been great that Driven Leasing sorted it out. Like, I'm so happy they've given me this experience, but I'm not like pining for an M4 now, and I don't think that they're super cool. I'm just like, yeah, it's quick. And so many people have seen me like, oh yeah, how's the guy getting with the M4? And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And it's been solid this week. It's been great to take on the motorway, and it has been fun when I've needed to go quick. It's been quick, but it's just not exciting enough for me. It doesn't thrill me. And maybe that's because I'm driving it wrong. Maybe I haven't had an experience to really get the most out of it. But I've tried to. I've tried to really push it and sort of get happy with it. It hasn't made me smile once. That is what it is. It's made me go like, oh shit, this is quick. Like, it has made me go like, oh my god, we're going super quick. But it's never made me like, which for me is something that I really want from a car. That's like what I think quick cars should do. That's what they're going to be all about, right? It's making me like laugh and smile. And maybe that's because I'm so spoiled in my car and it is so theatrical. But I've been so lucky to drive lots of cars this week, and whether it's been the Land Rover Defenders over at SMC, or the Jeep Wranglers at Cannes, to the 488 driving at 30 miles an hour, they've all somehow like given me this crazy excitement and experience, and I've really enjoyed it. But I couldn't say that I've really enjoyed the M4. It's just been good. Like, it's just been fine. It's weird. It's really weird. I'm sorry to anyone who is a big M4 fan, because I know there are millions out there, and I'm sure the M4 could destroy the F-Type in a race. I'm sure. I mean, I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but this car feels really freaking quick. But it doesn't do anything for me. It just doesn't. And one of the major things that I sort of credit to that it is the internal environment. We've talked about how I kind of sadly find the design of the interior a bit dull, but it's also the sort of the driving sensations. Maybe I need to take this car to like a track, or maybe it needs to go to some Swiss Alps to really sort of benefit from it, but I know so many people that love this car, but I'm afraid I'm not one of them. So in summary, I'm not sure I personally would own a BMW M4. I think I would lean towards, unsurprisingly, a Jaguar F-Type. No surprises there. But also I'd probably pick Mercedes C63 and even potentially an Audi RS5 over the M4. I know that last one will be particularly controversial, but it's just personal taste. I think there is no denying the performance of this car, and with the right spec it can have incredible road presence. If you own an M4 or you're thinking about buying an M4, you're going to have an incredible time. It's just not a kind of car that I really want to have. I hope you've enjoyed the video anyway. Give it a thumbs up if you have, and make sure you're subscribed for plenty more content to come. Mark actually owns 2 GT3 RS 4 litres.
Read that.
I managed to get Zurich to agree to cover the drive, and does that mean I'm about to drive your car?
Yes! Now accelerate hard.